Ohio. Soligorsk, the second most populated, after Borisov. A city in the Minsk region of Belarus, the administrative center of the Soligorsk district. Since March 7, 1963, the city of regional submission. Since January 6, 1965, the regional center of the Soligorsk district. It is located on banks of the river of the Sluch and the Soligorsk Reservoir in 135.7 km from Minsk. The railway station of a branch Slutsk, Soligorsk. By highways it is connected with Slutsk, Lyubin, Lunins and Minsk. There is a green space. It is founded in 1958. Soligorsk arose in connection with opening and industrial development of potash salt near the villages of Vishnyovka, Pokrovka, Kovalyova Loza, Teslin, Paskanga. In May 1958, the decision to begin construction of new plant on the basis of the Starobinsky field and to put into operation the first stage in 1963 was made. Construction was announced by all Union Shach Komsomol building. The Komsomol organization of building totaled 1,500 people in the ranks. On August 10, 1958, near the village Chizovichi, there was a meeting devoted to laying of the first symbolical stone of the new city. On a small obelisk an inscription. Here new Starobinsk is put. Years later the first monument transferred. In 1968, to the 10th anniversary of Soligorsk, behind Club of Builders, the stone with an inscription devoted to a solemn meeting on laying of the city was established. In 1978 the stone was transferred to the square of a name of Lenin Komsomol, opposite to Club of Builders, where the monument in honor of foundation of the city was built. The first master plan of building of Soligorsk was developed by architects of Belgorod Institute on 16,000 inhabitants. According to the plan, the city consists of 3 residential areas. Western, northern and southern, divided among themselves by city highways. Everything began with construction in 1958 on the place of Vishnyok of Starobinsky district, the settlement of Novostarobinsk, which in a year is renamed into the industrial settlement of Soligorsk. Since 1959 the northern area began to be built up. The main structural unit of the city accepted the residential district. In 1958, on the one hand, new buildings, the quiet deep Sluch river bore the waters, with another the huge forest area was stretched. Construction of city streets, and then reservoirs was carried out on the place of gradually demolished villages of Vishnyovka, Kovalyova Loza, Paskanka, Pokrovka, the abrupt coast, Seltso, Teslin. The name New Starobinsk remained imprinted in a stone in memory of first builders. In some documents of Starobinsky District Executive Committee the new building was called as New and Starobinsk, officially so the settlement wasn't called. The city documentary received the name on August 8, 1959, the industrial settlement of Soligorsk. On September 18, 1959, the decision of Starobinsky District Executive Committee, the first chairman of Working and Settlement Council of Deputies of Workers, approved Gerasimovich Mikhail Antonovich. On May 22, 1960, the first elections to Raposelkovy Council took place. Soligorsk under construction was broken into construction quarters. Originally numbers were assigned to streets. A historical zone of Soligorsk is construction quarter No. 23. From this place the city was developed. This street by right can be considered the Koival of Soligorsk. On her near the first symbolical stone of a monument the foundations for the first buildings, one-story hostels on 50 people everyone were laid. In April 1959 6 hostels were handed over and populated. On January 15, 1959 the first 16-room two-storied brick house was mortgaged. It was populated in the middle of December 1959. It is on Stroitley Street, 15. On May 18, 1959 the Sterbinski District Executive Committee decided to appropriate names to the first streets. Construction, in honor of builders of potash plant, the city and miners, in honor of pioneers of an underground subsoil. On August 17, 1959 Street No. 17 was given the name Cherry. It is the third street in the inhabited town under construction. The street received the name not accidentally. Building was conducted on the place of the demolished village of Vishnetka. The name existed not for long. Already on January 7, 1960 it was abolished. Vishnevaya Street became continuation of New Street No. 13 Stroitley Street. East part. Then the Executive Committee of Settlement Council of the Industrial Settlement of Soligorsk appropriated the name to 13 streets. Street No. 1 received M. Gorky's name Street No. 2. Lenin Komsomol Street No. 7 K. Zaslanova Street No. 12 Railway. On the map of the city construction quarters the numbers changed for names of streets: Municipal, School, Gastello, Guliev. On April 13, 1962 because in the territory of Soligorsk there were 2 streets with conformable names of builders and construction, the last is renamed into Pioneer. Further in the city of Soligorsk there were new streets, old were reconstructed, their names changed. At Demolition Shlakobotany, wooden, frame, combined and panel board and adobe houses to keep a location of old streets it isn't possible. In July 1959 the order on the Minsk Regional Public Health Department approved a medical and sanitary part for delivery of health care to miners, builders, residents. In Barrack type on Железнодорожная Street, 2. The building is demolished. The polyclinic in which reception of patients in offices of therapy, surgery was provided was developed. Later developed a hospital on 35 places, doctors -9 people, among them there is a chief of a medical unit K. Yao. Meleshko. Plants grew, the number of residents increased. At the end of 1959 construction of city polyclinic on 500 visitors, and 1 year later, polyclinics of potash plants, on 250 visitors began. At the end of 1962 construction of a hospital complex on 300 beds which cases and offices are serially put in operation since June 1965 begins. National education of Soligorsk began with decision No. 315 of Sterbinski District Executive Committee. In the industrial settlement of Soligorsk Elementary Russian School on 4A class set was opened on September 1, 1959. It opened in 3 rooms under the same roof with polyclinic in the house on Железнодорожная Street, 2. I was the first principal N.G. Novik. On the 1st of September, 1960, the first high school on 520 places opened doors. Here also the Russian school moved. For school built the three-storied building on Stroitly Street, 10, where now the industrial practice inter-school plant is placed. By September 1st, 1963, there began work High School No. 2. Construction of schools was vital need for the city, the age of inhabitants of which didn't exceed average then 26 years. At an interval of 2-3 years, new schools opened. On November 4, 1959, the Club of Builders was built to 250 places. It is one of the very first buildings down the street 50. Komsomola 50. Komsomola 42. Later to Club the extension was made, and it began to be called Recreation Center of Builders. The Recreation Center of Builders was the center of cultural life of youth of the city. Became good tradition those years in the summer on the riverbank sludge to hold youth festivals. The first such festival was held in June, 1961. On August 13, 1960, in construction quarter No. 23, the first department store is open. 50. Komsomol Street 44. Since August 4, 1960, in Soligorsk earned shops of plant of consumer services, and since October 1960 the city had own bakery. On crossing of streets of builders and 50. Komsomol, the cultural shopping center of the worker of Soligorsk, was created. There took place the first meetings and demonstrations of citizens. From here the first country buses and buses of city routes went. In 1960 on Stroitly Street the standard combined and panel board house in which the first bus station is placed is established. Stroitly Street 18. The first day nursery on 120 places accepted children aged from 3 months to 3 years on November 30, 1960. A day nursery was located in specially built up building M. Gorkogo Street 27. In May 1961, in the adapted room on K. Zaslanov Street, the city's first library opened. The city was built up with new modern multi-story buildings. In 1960, construction of 4-storied brick houses begins. One of the first such houses is on 50. Komsomol Street 16. In 1961 the first large block 4-storied house is leased. 50. Komsomol Street 36. In February 1962 the first large panel house is under construction. 50. Komsomol Street 14. Since 1963 Massachusetts building of the city by 5-story panel houses, so-called 5-story apartment blocks, began. In 1967 in the city the first 9-floor brick house appeared. Kozlov Street 24. From the remained first 16 apartment houses built in 1960, the reconstructed house on Железнодорожная Street 16. On April 28, 1961, the Soligorsk's first widescreen movie theater, Soligorsk, is solemnly put in operation. The Schoolhouse of Arts of City Department of Culture No. On the 2nd of July the same year, after construction of the relaying television center, the transfer antenna is established and mounted. The possibility of transmit-receive of the Minsk television station appeared. In construction quarter No. 23 since September 1, 1961, the first academic year at the Soligorsk Music School began. Stroikli Street, E11. The building is demolished. In November 1961, occupations in the Soligorsk Mining Chemical Technical School began. On evening department, 140 people are accepted. Potash production needed professional staff. In September 1962, on full-time department of technical school, on the first course 180 people are accepted, 300 pupils started occupations on evening department. In the summer of 1962, construction of the Soligorsk branch line is finished. The Soligorsk station was in the center of the modern city. Railway tracks lay between streets Railway and K. Zaslanova. Lenin Street originated from the station. From here intercity buses drove off. On June 5, 1962, the first passenger train along a route Soligorsk-Slutsk went. Long time the building of the old station was used as the local dairy market. So far the old building of the station is demolished. On August 1, 1984, the new building of the railway station and bus station is built. On July 3, 1962, the Soligorsk Executive Committee called the new city street Mira Street, Kozlov Street. On January 1, 1963, the city already totaled more than 18,000 inhabitants. The urban-type settlement of Soligorsk was transformed by the decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of Bees to the city. In May 1963, the I session of the City Council, the chairman of Executive Committee again chose Master of Arts Gerasimovich. By forces Starobinsky and Lyubin tractor and meliorative stations, the dam construction for creation of the Soligorsk reservoir of 2760 hectares began spring of 1964. In the spring of 1967, the reservoir was filled with floodwaters. The reservoir is constructed on the Sluch River. The decree of Presidium of the Supreme Council of the Belarusian Tsar of January 6, 1965 formed the Soligorsk district. The city of Soligorsk became the regional center. Here from the settlement of Starobin all administrative regional agencies were translated. By this time the city totaled about 25,000 people. More than 90% in total production are occupied by products of Jest Belaruskali. In association 20,000 people work, 83% of his products are exported to more than 50 countries of the world. The accompanying productions are organized: sewing, meat processing. In total in Soligorsk 62 state and incorporated the enterprises. Among the largest, Passat Holding, the plants of the mining equipment, mechanical repair, precast concrete, reinforced concrete structures, research and experimental, fluid wooden designs, foundry and mechanical. Light industry AP, Kupalinka and Kistkalinka. 6 banks and 155 private commercial structures. In the city, the construction complex including Jesk Stroy Trust No. 3 Ordina Oktyarskou Revolutsai, Jesk Shakta Spetsry Trust and house building plant is developed. Makes freight and passenger traffic bus fleet No. 1. 105 trade enterprises. 63 with the state form of ownership, 42 from non-state. And 11 brand stores are engaged in service of citizens. In the city, -72 catering establishments on 26 seats. Consumer services are presented by Plant of Consumer Services on 206 jobs, free studio, 13 hairdressing salons. Representative body of the power is the Soligorsk Regional Council of Deputies. It consists of 40 people and is elected inhabitants on single candidate districts. Term of office 4 years. The Council of Deputies of the 28th Convocation was elected on February 18, 2018. The chairman of the board is Kaliva Alla Vasilyevna. Executive and administrative organ of the power is the Soligorsk Regional Executive Committee. On August 7, 2017, the President of ERB agreed to Puskrobka Oleg Grigoryevич's appointment the chairman of the Soligorsk District Executive Committee. Population of 2018 106,627. National structure on a census of 2009. Belarusians 88,811%. Russian 84,39,8.25%. Ukrainians 11,41 1.12%. Poles of 185 0.18%. Tatars of 60 0.06%. Armenians of 52 0.05%. Azerbaijanians of 36 0.04%. Jews of 34 0.03%. Germans of 30 0.03%. Lithuanians of 20 0.02%. Moldavians of 20 0.02%. Kazakhs of 10 0.01%. Chuvashs of 10 0.01%. Admurts of 10 0.01%. On a population census of 1979, Belarusians 76%. Russians 19.9%. 1746 Ukrainians 2.7%. 318 Poles 0.5%. 165 Jews 0.3%. 429 representatives of other nationalities lived in Soligorsk. According to a census of 2009, population of Soligorsk 102,298 of people. Birth rate coefficient in the city -11.4 on 1,000 people. 2017. An average value across Republic of Belarus -10. Mortality rate -9.3 on 1,000 people. An average value across Republic of Belarus -12. On birth rate level, the city takes the 9th place among 23 cities with the population more than 50,000 people. On death rate, the 17th. An identical indicator with Gomel. On the level of natural increase/decline in population. +2. The 5th. In 2017, 19.2% of urban population of the area. With Starobin in the red settlement. Were aged younger than able-bodied, 57.5% at working age, 23. 3% are aged more senior able-bodied. Average values on the Republic -17.7%, 57.2% and 25.1%. In the city there are 11 comprehensive schools, 1 lyceum and 3 gymnasiums. Also in Soligorsk 3 institutions of secondary vocational education work. Colleges. There are organizations of out-of-class educational work which include 11 specialized child care facilities. Among them School of Arts, Art School, the Station of Young Technicians, Music School, Children's Theatre of Dance, Museum of Local Law, the Center of Children's Creativity. In Soligorsk 3 institutions of secondary vocational education work. Soligorsk State College. The Soligorsk State Mining and Chemical College, Bain 2 branch. Soligorsk Economic College. Healthcare. Treatment and prophylactic work is carried out by the Soligorsk Territorial and Medical Association. It includes District Hospital on 870 beds, Children's City Hospital on 150 and 3 local hospitals on 75 beds. Service of employees of just Belarus is carried out by specialized polyclinic. In mines of the first mine administration, the unique spell units where patients with bronchial asthma and allergic diseases receive effective treatment is equipped. For carrying out leisure to services of citizens, City Palace of Culture, Stroitly Recreation Center, the Center of Culture and Leisure, network of libraries, large format movie theater. Venus is sharp-sighted, on 806 places. There is a number of amateur associations, clubs of young poets and an author's song. Also the city is mentioned in the geological song. Religious activity in Soligorsk is carried out by 9 registered religious communities. Parish of Christ Nativity Cathedral of Soligorsk. Saint Blessed Matrona of Moscow's Arrival. Roman Catholic Church of St. Francis. Church Christ for All. Seventh-day Adventist Church. Church of Evangelical Baptist Christians. Word of Belief Church. Jehovah's Witnesses. Massachusetts Media. Massachusetts media in the city of Soligorsk are presented by periodicals, the radio and television of PUP, Soligorsk Television Channel. The radio program Our Radio broadcasts 5 days a week from 11:40 till 12 o'clock. There is still a radio channel Urtsalt of just Belarus which broadcasts on Wednesdays and Fridays from 14:10 till 15 o'clock and is broadcast in all divisions of the enterprise. In the city 4 newspapers are issued. Q. Shakhtar Newspaper Editorial Office, the State Edition. The weekly newspaper Leader Press, the founder of NL Synergia. The Kalishik Soligorsk newspaper, the departmental edition Jest Belaruskoly. The Stroitel Soligorsk newspaper, the departmental newspaper of labor collective of Chesk Stroi Trest No. 3 Ordina Oktyarsko Revolutsai. Sites. The monument to Vladimir Ilyich Lenin is located near the central square of the city, on crossing of streets of Lenin and Kozlov. The monument to 5.1. Lenin is executed in the form of the bust established on a monument. Author of a monument, famous Soviet sculptor A. Bembel. The monument is established in 1980, only in 22 years after creation of the city. Monument in honor of miners pioneers. It is established in Soligorsk on August 28, 1977. In the center of the monumental work, which represents the extraordinary strength of the person who presented to the earth a productivity stone, a figure of the miner pioneer who left a face. The idea of architects of a monument SF. Tchenko and 5. M. Vlochina was realized by the sculptor G. 5. Barolkin. The monument is made of concrete, the sculpture of the miner is revetted with copper. The general height of a monument -6 meters. It is located around the central bank. The first driving combine of Soligorsk. In August 1960, the Shab -2 combine weighing 32 tons was lowered to -1 Now the combine is brought to the surface and installed in the form of a monument at the intersection near 1 In the city, 2 stadiums on 8,000 places, the ice arena on 2,000 places, 2 track and field athletics arenas, 4 pools and 6 minibassin, 26 gyms, a tennis arena. 4 sports schools on 2.5 thousand people. The Soligorsk soccer team, Shakhtar, which won many trophies in the Belarusian superiority, is known. In 1999, the Shakhtar Spetsry volleyball team, renamed in Shakhtar, is made later. For quite some time now in the Open Hockey Championship of Belarus successfully acts as well local hockey club, Shakhtar. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.